Welcome to this yoga class. Today we'll focus on the hip flexors, psoas, and also the back line of the legs, so calves, hamstrings, and we'll stay off of the tailbone today. So I have a friend who has a injury from a long time ago, broken tailbone, can't lie on her back. So there won't be any time where you're lying on your back. There will be some time where you're lying on your belly. So not for pregnant women, this particular class, but if you have a tailbone injury, this might be for you. We'll be on our knees quite a bit in tabletop. So if you'd like to have a blanket stretched out, just folded under the knees, you could do that. Just be careful with the standing postures that you're not on your blanket. Also, at the front of your mat, it's a fairly gentle, beginner-friendly class, but there will be a few standing poses, and forward folding triangle is one of our peak poses. So if you'd like to have blocks or books to have your hands on when you're in your forward fold, for some of us that can make it more accessible. So you may want those near the top of your mat, and we'll just be forward and back today, if that helps you decide where you would like to place your laptop or camera or phone rather. So let's meet in tabletop today. Paw at the earth here to warm the hands. Turn the fingertips to the outside edges of the room and toward you. Back to the outside edges, back to the short edge of your mat. And then from here, ground the hands and arch the spine. Cat cow here, cat tilts round. I like to inhale as I arch and exhale as I round, but you decide. It's a few more to awaken the spine. Last time, arch, and then come to neutral. And we'll let the chest sink a little bit between the arms just to warm up the shoulders before we really get into things. Press the earth away. Let the chest sink. Arms are relatively straight, just a small micro bend in the elbows, and press away. Inhale. Exhale, press. One more time, inhale. Exhale to press and see if you feel ready to tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog, just to come off the knees for a moment. As you pedal the feet, allow one foot to come toward the earth, maybe come onto the toes of the opposite leg to awaken and stretch through those calves. Really press through the hands here to activate through the shoulders. And switch feet, so the opposite foot presses down as you come onto the toes of the other. Again, switch. Switch. And then just press both your heels back toward the earth. Doesn't mean they're going to get there. And then we'll return again to the knees. If you're able, you can tuck the toes and sit on your heels just to cup the shoulders, to make a few circles from the elbow and reverse directions. Now let's get into it. Hands plant. Pardon me. That left leg will extend. That right arm can also reach. You could also leave it out. Inhale here. Exhale to curl. Elbow to knee to elbow. We'll do quite a few of these. Reach. A little bit of core in this sequence today too. They'll be around 10, depending on your pace. Already at 3. If you're at my pace, I tend to be a little bit long with the breaths. You may get to a few more repetitions than myself. Here's 5. Really press through that left hand. 6. Almost there. 2 more. Really reach. Last one, curl. And then reach that right arm and left leg long. Plant that right hand underneath the opposite shoulder and allow or sweep that left leg out to the side and plant the foot. So we're in our moon straddle here. Take that left arm and open up toward that same left side. And then thread that left hand underneath the right armpit. Unravel, reach for the sky, and rotate toward the earth. Do quite a few of these today as well. We do a one rotated pose later. Let's do 3 more. Reach and thread. 2. Last one, reach for the sky. Thread. And then lengthen that leg, the arm back up to the sky and allow the hand to come back underneath the shoulder. As you lift that left foot off the earth, send the leg back behind you. Inhale and exhale to bend the knee and pull the left leg through. So you're in this low crescent lunge. So it'll be one of our feature poses today. For now, we'll stay in movement, broaden across the chest here. Hands are down or perhaps on blocks. And lengthen the lead leg, flex through the toes. Come forward to this low lunge with the hands to support, which is why the knee can come past the ankle if it needs to. And lengthen the leg, flex the toes. If you like this. Yeah, the hands are here to support. So you might be able to go more deeper safely when we're not in an active, strong, strengthening version of this crescent or lunge. One more time, come forward. We'll pause here. One more inhale. And then exhale to come to 90-90, just so that you can pull that left foot in a little closer to the body. Hands can return to the earth. You might feel this in the Achilles a little bit. More inhale here. And as you exhale, tuck the back toes and lengthen that leg. Left leg can also lengthen here into a forward folding triangle. Hands could come onto the blocks if needed. And then bend that lead knee and see if you can rise to stand. And this kind of small runner's lunge, and then plant the back foot and find your groundation through both feet. Really press the back, heel into the earth. Might even lengthen through the calf. And then come onto the back toes once more. Hands can come to your hips or they could stay lifted. From here, very small pelvic curl. You might even stay in stillness if you don't like this. Arch the back just slightly and curl that thigh in and away. Just a few times. Little tuck of the pelvis. You might feel this in the hip flexor. 2 more. Last one, little curl. Then again, plant that back foot where you'd like it to be into the warrior 1 again. And this time circle the arms round and behind the body, open up across the heart, maybe even interlace the fingers. If able, open the chest, lengthen the lead leg. Belly button pulls toward the spine as you fold yourself forward. And this is where the hands again might come to those blocks. Here I have eggs. So you can have a long spine, really experience that length before you round safely. Integrity of the core. And that left hip will pull slightly back into its socket. Feel the length through that leg as we stay. Around 2 more breaths. Last inhale, lengthen through the spine. Perhaps the hands come to those blocks. And from here, rotate toward the long left leg as the thighs squeeze toward one another and the outer hips hug in. More inhale and exhale to return those hands toward the earth, or your torso toward the earth. Bend that lead knee and allow the back shin to descend to the earth once more and roll up through the spine and come into a 90-90 version of the lunge. And you'll notice I slid the blocks in toward me so I can stay nice and tall if I wish. Really focus on lengthening, maybe even a slight tuck through that pelvis. I don't know about you, but I can feel this in through the right hip flexor. You may need to go deeper as well. You can play with your angle, but for now, if you can feel it in this variation, stay in the 90-90. More breaths. Really press for that back shin. Inhale. And as you exhale, soften through the hips. Allow the front knee perhaps to bend deeper now, unless you're already there. Just play with your angles. The blocks or hands perhaps support you now. More inhale. And exhale to let any blocks go that you might have. Hands can descend to the earth. As you lengthen out the lead leg once more, toes flex toward the nose. And then take that heel, slide the foot back in behind the body. Come onto the hands. They're in this tabletop position with the left leg lengthened. And then take that left foot, cross it over to the right hand side. Allow the toes to touch down. You might feel this a bit and through the psoas, flexor area, maybe the side body. As you perhaps look over the right shoulder, if the neck will allow, maybe back to center. And play with the neck, look over the shoulder. And come back. 2 more. Last one, look over that shoulder. Head comes back to neutral as you lift the left toes off the earth, bring them directly behind you, and then allow them to touch down, and you might rock forward and back on the forefoot, the left forefoot. And then pause, and perhaps if you wish, you could take a plank. You could also lower the knees down. Now, perhaps everyone lowers the knees down as you bend through the elbows. Come onto the forearms into Sphinx. And exhale to lower back down. Slide those hands closer toward the upper ribs as you press yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Again, we can pedal those feet. Take one leg up. Open up your hips toward the right side walls for a moment here. And place that foot back down, other side. Press evenly through the hands. And let that go. And from here, bend the knees and they can hover an apple height off the earth. You could also bring them down right away. Inhale. Exhale to lower the knees round through the spine and make some barrel rolls with the hips. So it's like you're tracing the inside of a bowl with a spoon. and reverse. And then we'll do all that on the other side. Right leg will lengthen. Left arm perhaps also reaches. Inhale. Exhale to curl. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to curl. This includes a round of the spine, belly button up in it. Already at 3 here as we pull. And extend. Remember, we're going for about 10 here. Halfway there with this one. Three more. 2. Last one, curl, reach, and plant that left hand underneath the shoulder. Take that right leg out to the side and allow the foot to ground. Rotate toward the right, lift that same arm up and thread it underneath left armpit. Again, uncoil and rotate or thread. Few more. Let's do 3. 2. Try to keep the head in line with spine. I notice mine trying to dip. One more time, open. Then allow that right hand to return to the earth under the shoulder. As you lift the right foot off of the earth, bring it back directly behind you. Inhale and exhale to pull it through into a low crescent. Broaden across the heart as you press your fingertips and or hands on the blocks. And allow that right leg to lengthen, toes toward nose. And come forward and back. If you need to, you could always just stay in one spot. Just a few more here. Make some space in your hips. Last one, come forward. Use the support of the hands. Puff up through the heart. And then from here, bring that right foot a little closer to your center. And see if you can experience the Achilles with a deep knee bend. Then tuck the back toes, lift the knee, plant that foot as we come into our forward folding triangle. That right leg will naturally lengthen. And this is where you might want those hands on supports. Bend the front knee. Might need to back up that left foot as you come to rise. Plant the foot for a moment, that left foot if it's not already there. Arms up toward the sky. Those ribs pull slightly toward the pubic bone. Feel the breath in the sides of the ribs. Hands to hips here, perhaps, as you come onto the back toes. Hips shine forward. Curl a little bit through the pelvis. If it's for you, if you don't already feel a stretch. And then allow the pelvis to release. Curl a little. Release it back. Feel like this. Two more. Last one, curl. And then replant that back foot where it feels comfortable for you. Nice balanced weight through the the feet. Arms can sweep up, only to circle in behind, open across the chest, maybe even clasp fingers together. And slowly lengthen the right leg and pour yourself forward. If you need to release the hands again, do so to support your descent. And then, if you haven't yet, unleash the hands down. Lengthen through the spine. You pull that right hip back into its socket and then deepen nose toward knee. Doesn't mean it's going to get there. Few breaths. And we're wide. Inhale. Exhale. Ha. Inhale again to lengthen the spine. That left hand will come to the block perhaps or the earth as you rotate toward the right. And there's that squeeze of the thighs up and back, hug of the outer thighs. Or inhale and exhale, hand comes down, bend that front knee and allow the back knee and shin to come down. Just as you need here to rise into your low lunge. Hands again could be on their tallest height on blocks perhaps. Experience the 90-90 if you get a sensation of stretch. I'd ask you to stay there for a while. It can be a little different than when we angle forward. And so tight you are though. There might be a slight tuck here, very slight. That pelvis. Few more breaths. Press your back shin, tall, tall spine. Inhale. And exhale, perhaps to change your angle. Let the hips soften now. No longer attempting to tuck, just be there. One more inhale. And exhale, to begin to lengthen the right leg, toes toward nose again. And assist and step that right foot a little closer again. Might feel the Achilles. And the hands will ground as you lengthen that right leg behind you. Cross it over to the left hand side and plant the foot. Again, here, play with the neck, look forward and back. One more time, perhaps look back and look forward. Inhale, lift that right leg and then plant the foot directly in line with the hip and rock forward and back. And be mindful once in a while that the neck is in line with the rest of the spine. So we're not like this, because this happens a lot. That technique, we don't want to encourage that. And then from here, pause. And again, you could come up into the full plank here just by lifting the other knee, or the knees could come down and come forward no matter where you are, slightly with the body. Come down into your version of chaturanga. That might mean that you come all the way to the belly. And then you could come onto your forearms or your version of high cobra or up dog. And tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. From here, we'll lower all the way onto the belly. You could do this really slowly if you're looking for a little more work. And extend the arms out in front of you. Might want to move the blocks if you have any, or books. You might want to stay here depending on how you're feeling, or make your way onto one side, and then the top leg and arm will really reach. Allow the top foot to come behind the body. You can shift it forward and back to see if you can find the psoas here as we lift the bottom waist. So there's a little bit of a space here off the earth. Really reach everything long. Again, those toes on the top foot may or may not touch down, and that's okay. If they don't, it might mean that you're fairly tight here. And sometimes it takes a while to find the psoas. If you're someone that works at a desk a lot, you've probably found it. A few more breaths. The breath can intensify the sensation of stretch. And from here, roll onto your belly and come onto the opposite side. So that new top leg comes in behind. You'll be able to see the back of me here. Really reach and lift that bottom waist. There's a little space so I can fit my hand there. Hips are still relatively stacked as I do this. Widen the breath. One more inhale. And exhale to return to the belly. You might want your arms in cactus here and just rock side to side with the hips. Could also extend the fingertips out. And for some of you, this might be where you stay if you have any shoulder issues. Or perhaps you take that right hand and slide it in toward the body. And again, roll onto that one side. And that top foot could come and plant behind the body. So here I have this arm extended on the earth. This is what it would look like from the floor. You can see me through the floor. Could also bend that back arm as well. So it's cactused on the earth. Just nice to get a shoulder stretch in. Front line. Then return to your belly, other side. So this other arm will extend, and in my case, the left hand will plant. And I'll take that top leg and behind, plant the foot. One more inhale here. And then exhale to return to the belly. And from here, slide that right leg out. And I'm in a frog shape. You could turn your gaze in that same direction with the arms cactused. And stretch the inseam of the leg. Might feel this in the groin, I do. Inseam of the leg. Change sides. That left leg will come out. Perhaps you gaze to it. And then return to center, and you might choose a belly savasana, especially if you do have issues with the tailbone, or maybe a savasana just on your side. Head could be turned one way for a few breaths and then the other, or just extend those arms, forehead to the earth, ground. On the belly, it gives us the opportunity to breathe there, to feel the flow of the breath from belly, ribs, chest to chest, ribs, belly. Around 6 to 8 more breaths here. So you can bring your full attention to this moment just for a short time. Bring your attention to the breath when the mind wanders. One more inhale. Feel yourself expand. And exhale, ha. Keep mindful awareness in the body as you slide those hands closer to the upper ribs. Lift yourself off the earth onto your shins. Maybe you widen the knees into a very wide child's pose. If it serves your hips, this can really get into kind of the groins here. To have it very wide. This may not be possible for everyone. You could stay more with the hips in line with the knees and just press back as much as you're able. It'll look more like a tabletop. And walk the hands in to lift through the torso. Sit however you need to here if you can't sit on your shins. And from here, drop the chin. Look up as the arms circle up. And bring your hands to your forehead. May our thoughts come from our hearts to our mouth and throat. May our words be kind but empowered. And to our hearts where compassion lies. Thank you for practicing with me today. Sat Nam.